Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:07. It's O'Connor and Company. Thanks for tuning in. In 30 minutes, we're going to get a report card from Greg Pemberton, president of the D.C. Police Union. A little progress report here, first week into the new order in the district. 8:05, General Jack Keane on the Putin-Trump talks. And then at 8:35, Peter Schweitzer, one of the best investigative journalists around, a scholar, who broke the story about the Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative. The Clinton Cash was the name of the book. And now we've got FBI unsealed, unredacted documents that show that the FBI was, in fact, investigating those actual crimes until they were told to stop during the 2016 campaign. We'll get into all of that. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie. And let's pick up that story there, the Clinton cash scandal, that we will dive into with Peter Schweitzer. But let's bring in Joe diGenova, legal analyst, former U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. And I remember, Joe, during the 2016 campaign, when you were still appearing here every Monday morning at 7, we're so lucky to have you. You were talking about this story. And, of course, we don't know what the FBI is investigating criminally at any given time. But now it turns out there was a criminal investigation until political hacks, political appointees at the Justice Department pulled the plug and told the FBI to end that investigation right now. And this wasn't within like that 90-day window that they always pretend to have, where the DOJ and the FBI don't want to get political in an election. This was during the primary when Bernie Sanders was winning, Joe.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that this is just like the conspiracy against Donald Trump at the beginning in 2016. Any first-year prosecutor would have identified all the facts and circumstances and would have said, there's something rotten here, we need to investigate it. And now we know that the FBI started to do that, but then they got shut down by Sally Yates, who was the Deputy Attorney General and was the Acting Attorney General for a while. There is no doubt that there was massive evidence of kickbacks and pay-to-play at the Clinton Foundation because Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Foreign governments, business entities, and others were pouring money into the Clinton Foundation to curry favor with the Secretary of State. This case should have been in front of a grand jury as soon as the Clinton Foundation refused to divulge books and records to the State Department and did not follow the advice that the counsel at the State Department gave. So no problem here, nothing surprising, just another cover-up of a Democratic crime by a Democratic Justice Department.
What do we know about the statute of limitations on things like this, not just the underlying crime of whatever was going on at the Clinton Foundation that should be uncovered, and criminal charges should be pressed if possible, but also about what appears to be obstruction of justice or something even more nefarious at the Justice Department? What is the statute of limitations?
Well, the statute of limitations on most of these crimes is 5 years. In a couple of fraud situations, it's 10 years. If there is a conspiracy to violate these laws, then the statute of limitations stops running 5 years from the last overt act committed by any member of the conspiracy. In the case of the Clinton Foundation, it would require a grand jury to look in the facts and circumstances to see whether or not, A, there was a conspiracy, and B, when was the last overt act. So I think it would be appropriate to have a grand jury to at least establish those facts first. And if the statute is still running as a result of overt acts by co-conspirators, then obviously the grand jury should go forward full force.
I want to remind everyone, Peter Schweitzer, who I think Joe would agree is just a fantastic investigative journalist.
Oh, yes.
A real mensch. He knows this story back and forth. He's going to be joining us at 8:35. All right, so, Joe, it's been a week since the president announced a cooperation between the federal law enforcement agencies that operate in the district and the Metropolitan Police Department. He has utilized his executive constitutional powers to call an emergency crisis here in the district for 30 days, and he has put in place the current administrator of DEA as the temporary police commissioner. First of all, on the face of it, considering you were the former U.S. attorney for the district, you handled criminal issues back in the day. What do you think of this move and how it's being carried out so far?
Well, I think it was a necessary move. There's no doubt that the statistics for crime in the District of Columbia are not reliable. We now know that they've been faking statistics, recategorizing crimes so that there wouldn't be as much violent crime. So the statistics mean nothing. What matters are the actual crimes that show up on the blotter every day, such as the massive assault on the former Doge member last week. The bottom line in all of this is that there is a very serious crime problem in the District of Columbia, and it was dealt with correctly by the president by bringing in the National Guard, the FBI, the DEA, and all the other federal law enforcement agencies. And from the record thus far, with the various arrests that have been made, it's pretty clear that it's been very effective, and it's having a very, very good effect on the community in general. People are feeling safer, and they want the troops to stay. And one of the things that is very disappointing was to watch Muriel Bowser mouth a few things in favor of this and then find herself going on a podcast and talking about this guy referring to the President of the United States and she said, we got to figure out a way to get around this guy. Well, you know what? Muriel Bowser is really stupid to do something like that. Apparently, she thinks people don't watch podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, the media, though, has been horrible on this. They often swarm around a group of officers or federal law enforcement officers trying to take down an illegal, trying to arrest someone and harass them. We saw that this weekend. And actually, a federal law enforcement officer was injured in the process, and they just kept harping on the group of law enforcement officers who were trying to wrestle this guy into cuffs and into the car. And then the media, of course, reports that that just innocent people are being picked up on the streets of D.C. in unmarked cars, right? And then it turns out, of course, the White House is really good about this, giving the actual information about how they were part of Venezuelan street gang that came into the country illegally. But how should the White House, are they doing the right thing? I mean, it just seems like the media is so set against this and is really misinforming a lot of the American public.
Well, there's no doubt that the media opposes Trump, period. So that means that anything he does, they're going to find a way to make it negative. I think the administration is doing the right thing on this program, and I think the most important thing is to ignore the media and to get the message out, especially through the White House press office. Caroline Leavitt is extremely effective at delivering a message, and I think they should do that. I'd like to see more news conferences coming out of the Justice Department from their public affairs section, but that's not happening, so I suppose they've left it to the White House to explain this to the public. I think the Justice Department should be doing more of that.
Yeah. Also, the Attorney General of the District of Columbia now has filed a 33-page lawsuit against the Trump administration, saying that this move is unconstitutional. It really focuses on the placement of the administrator of the DEA as a temporary police commissioner. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this or review it, but it's not like the Attorney General of D.C. has a stellar track record of even understanding his role or the law itself.
Well, I think the first thing you have to understand with Mr. Schwab, the D.C. Attorney General, is that he's a political hack. He's not a good representative of what an attorney general or a local attorney general or state attorney should be. This is all about politics. The president did the right thing. He invoked the appropriate powers under the Home Rule Act, and everything is functioning well. Whether or not the DEA administrator is the acting police commissioner or not, the fact is the city must respond to the request that the FBI and the Justice Department are making for Metropolitan Police Department officers, and that is happening. I think this is a sideshow. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter with what Judge Reyes does in U.S. District Court. This is going to continue the way it is, and I think that this is, again, a sideshow.
Real fast, a grade for the woman sitting in your old office, Jeanine Pirro, so far as the D.C. U.S. Attorney.
A+. I like it. I like the fact that she's out front. I like the fact that she's talking about crime. I like the fact that she's pinning blame on the juvenile justice system. I like the fact that she's pinning blame on the city council of the District of Columbia, which is a left-wing disaster, ignoring the needs and wishes of the people of the city. It's just part of the politics of the city. It's a disaster. And here's the fascinating part. They've fumbled crime completely. And so what's their answer? Make us a state so we can fumble it bigger.
Right. You're right. The irony is amazing. By the way, I've done an exhaustive search. I haven't figured. Maybe you'll know better. She is the first female U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, I believe. But isn't it amazing? If she were a liberal, she would be on the cover of every magazine in this country as this groundbreaking, glass ceiling breaking icon. But nobody cares that it's Jeanine Pirro.
If she were a Democrat, this would be a PBS documentary already.
Yes, exactly.
This would be they'd have so many documentaries about this groundbreaking thing. Look, people have to understand. You just have to ignore the media. They're irrelevant. People don't listen to them anymore. They listen to themselves. They're in an echo chamber. Forgive my French. The people in the media are just idiots.
Thank you, Joe.